Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are discussing a tragic and deeply emotional story that's been unfolding over the past few weeks. The case of Karmelo Antony, a 17-year-old who has been accused of fatally unaliving a 17-year-old Austin. Since the incident, Karmelo Antony has been moved to an undisclosed location for his safety after reports surfaced that he and his family were receiving unaliving threats. People even went as far as posing as food delivery services, attempting to provoke fear and intimidation outside their home. And in another update, District Attorney Greg announced that Karmelo Antony will not face the unaliving penalty nor life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. A decision, as you can imagine, has sparked intense reactions across the Palm Color community. Many of you have likely been following this story, but today's video we're talking about something else: how Palm Color people have been reacting to this case. Some voices have risen to defend Karmelo, insisting that he deserves a chance at redemption given his young age. Others, however, have been extremely vocal in demanding the harshest punishment, even calling for being unalived penalty. Some are framing it as not being about race, insisting that crime is crime, while others are quick to place the blame entirely on Karmelo, accusing him of provoking the confrontation. I'll play the clips throughout this video that highlights these different perspectives, some fair, some deeply troubling, especially when you consider how differently many believe this case would be perceived if the roles were reversed. So stay tuned, because we're going to break down the reactions, the narratives being pushed, and what this says about race justice and the value of young black lives in America today. Let's watch this.
It's crazy to me how everyone in Texas is all about stand your ground and self-defense until that person doesn't look like me. This case is racially charged, and stick with me here. If the roles were reversed, if Karmelo Antony was 220 pounds with his twin brother, picking on a white kid, putting hands on a white kid, and he got unalived, y'all would say that he got exactly what was coming to him, and if he would have kept his hands to himself, he would still be here today. You can't tell me that race isn't a thing, because it's in my TikTok comments, and I've seen hundreds of comments on Facebook. So if you flip this scenario and Karmelo Antony was the aggressor in this situation and your opinion changed, you are racially biased. And to the white people in my comments calling me a white savior, God forbid I have empathy. If you're RICist, just say that and move on. In my last video, I said I didn't know why Karmelo Antony was sitting under that tent. Turns out it started raining, and Karmelo got permission from the coach. That's not even his school. He got permission from a coach to sit under that tent. Granted, it's free seating, but he got specific permission. And don't get me wrong, it's absolutely tragic that Austin lost his life. His parents lost their son. No parent should have to ever lose their kid. But it makes me think, what would have happened if Austin and Hunter would have left Karmelo alone and not talked to him? Not approached him, not instigated a situation and then escalated it by putting hands on him? Because y'all want to say, oh, it's not self-defense. Austin and his brother are 220-pound football players, and Karmelo was 130 pounds. If you can't visualize that, I'm 180. I got 50 pounds on the kid. Not only were they both in his face, but one of them put hands on him. He was scared. I feel like Austin and Hunter were looking for trouble, because if they were really so aggravated by this kid sitting there for whatever reason, they would have gotten an adult to remove him. They wouldn't have approached him, talked shit, and put hands on him. I'll probably get crucified for this, but I don't care. What's right is right, what's wrong is...
Dear white people, stop saying that the Karmelo Antony case isn't about race, because it 100% is. From the beginning, y'all have decided that he is guilty. The police are still doing their investigation, like the prosecutor's office doesn't even have the file on their desk yet. But you've assumed he's guilty. Meanwhile, the US runs off the legal principle that it's innocent until proven guilty. Meanwhile, grown white men can unalive black children in cold blood and still get sympathy. They still get the benefit of the doubt. Then there's the judge who is overseeing his bond hearing. She's a black woman and she's Republican. And you thought her being Republican was going to serve you. You kept saying, this isn't going to go the way you think it is. You can't pull the race card this time. You assumed that she would be harsh on Karmelo Antony to prove her loyalty to white supremacy. But when she didn't, when she lowered the bond like she's legally has the right to do, you lost your minds. You harassed her, you were racist, threatened her. You flooded her social media accounts with so much racist hate that she had to shut down her pages. All because she didn't do what you expected a black woman to do in the service of your comfort. But go ahead, keep telling yourself this isn't about race. Keep pretending like your outrage is about justice. It's not. You're not mad about the system. You're mad that for once it didn't cater to white supremacy. That a black child wasn't immediately discarded. That a black woman had the audacity to use her power in a way you didn't approve of. And how evil do you have to be to legitimately think that any of this is okay? I made a previous video talking about so many instances where black people were murdered and their white murderers got away with it. It was a sliver of the actual numbers, and no one white flinched. That's not apathy, that's not ignorance, that's pure fucking evil. You care more about your reputation of not being racist than actual racism. You want the image of a good person without the actual soul of one. And since some of you want to claim being Christian, let me leave you with this. If anyone says, I love God and hates his brother, he is a liar. 1 John 4:20. And using God to justify your racism is blasphemy. And God will hold you accountable. And if you've made it this far and you're uncomfortable or you're angry, you should be with yourself.
So let me make sure I'm getting this straight, and yes, I'm gonna fucking say this, okay? The situation with Karmelo Antony and Austin Metcalf happens, and now all of a sudden your kids aren't safe in school? And yes, this is an actual conversation that is happening. I'm not pulling this out of thin air. This is an actual fucking conversation that is happening right now, and it's among people who look like me. Yeah, I wasn't shocked either. And the people who need to hear the message that's coming out of my mouth, they're not going to hear it the way that I intend them to hear it. They're not going to digest it the way that I need them to digest it, because you've got deep-rooted shit going on that you need to deconstruct. And unfortunately for most of you, that's never going to happen. So you're never going to be able to hear me in the way that I need you to. And you're never going to see this in the way that you need to see it. I want to tell you something. There have been approximately, since 2015 to now, 446 school pew-pewings. I want to tell you that a majority of the people who have done those pew-pewings have looked like me. They have been white. But now a black boy enters the scene, and all of a sudden your kids are not safe in school, and all of a sudden now you're starting to give a fuck. That racism is going to show its ugly head every single fucking time.
So I want to understand something. Why is it when people talk about Karmelo Antony versus Austin, it is always made a point that it was Carmelo that was supposed to be the bigger person and to do it a different way, because the outcome happened to be something that ended somebody's life? Like, it doesn't make it any less self-defense regardless of how he did it. And what makes me bring this up is I just saw No Jumper post Aiden Ross's clip from his stream talking about Carmelo and the case. And this man proceeded to say that if you're being bullied, go to a teacher. As if that automatically stops bullying. Do you realize how many children unalive themselves because they were bullied and teachers did nothing, or the bare minimum, and it didn't stop anything? Like, what is telling a teacher can always do? Yes, that is what you should do. But to say that and expect Carmelo to have been the bigger person or to have done something or been the one to go to the teacher, why didn't Austin? He was the one with the problem. Austin was the one that approached him, and Austin's brother, twin brother, Hunter, literally said this in several interviews. You can literally search it and you can hear him and see him say it. You read his lips as he's saying it. He literally outed his own brother and admitted that his brother was the one that initiated this entire situation. So if you tell somebody you need to leave, you can't be here, whatever the case, and they say no, you say, okay, cool, turn around, go get a teacher. This could have all been avoided had Austin not tried to act like big buff guy and try to physically touch somebody else and try to remove them as if he had any authority to do so. That's what I'm not getting. Obviously, I know why it's being said, okay? But you guys want proof. Proof has been shown, and proof can be put in your face, and you're still going to be in denial and say that it isn't. So, honestly, that does nothing, because plenty of people, especially the black community, have done and said their proof, showed you the proof, put it in your face, and you denied it. Like your hand's in the cookie jar and you're denying that your hand's in the cookie jar type of thing. Like, come on. When it has been said that society was built for white people, that's literally what it is. And it's playing right now. You automatically deem the black person, the thug, the bad person, must have a past, must not have a father. Like, you say these stereotypical racist things because of who it is, but yet none of these things are being said about Austin, yet they were not perfect. And his own brother prove that. His own brother had said what it was. Now, allegedly, I don't know if this is true, so that's why I'm saying allegedly. It is being said that people were told not to post anything about Austin. So this is why I'm not seeing, or nobody's seeing, any videos of people coming forward and saying, well, yeah, Austin was like that. That's the type of person he was. Austin was a bully, or Austin was this. They were threatened that if they posted anything, they'd get in trouble. So what does that tell you, honestly, truthfully? You want to say that Carmelo didn't have a father figure, or all this dumb stereotypical things that are usually said and literally fucking rooted in racism, because we know exactly why you're saying it. But yet, isn't Austin's parents split up? 2 separate households? Like you're just saying anything, and it's proving more and more when it has to do with a black person and a white person what this truly is. It is about race, because you're making it about race. You want to say that the black community is making it about race, or other white people that are calling out racist white people. You're saying it's not about race while actively making it about race, because you're doing the stereotypical racist things and using racial slurs in the process. So, like, you're giving yourself up, and I honestly, truthfully don't understand how you guys aren't seeing that. Just saying.
It's crazy to me how everyone in Texas is all about stand your ground and self-defense until that person doesn't look like me.
And you would be doing the exact same thing if the roles were reversed. If Karmelo Antony was the one who had gotten stabbed for supposedly bullying, you would be accusing Austin Metcalf, who was white, of being racist and unaliving a black person simply because he was a racist. So that's what you would be doing. So you would be doing the exact same thing that you're accusing everybody else of doing, which is what y'all do with everything.
Why don't you go read the police report? It's available online, and it's free. In a nutshell, it literally explains what eyewitnesses had seen. And unless you're going to call them a liar, then that was what happened. Carmelo, unfortunately, was underneath the tent he shouldn't have been under. It was a team tent, and it was raining. Austin wasn't the only one that asked him to leave. Other people under the tent had asked him to leave, because it's just, you don't go underneath another team's tent. Like, go underneath your own tent. So when Austin said to him, get out from underneath the tent, Carmelo said, touch me and see what happens. Them two get into an altercation, just words, like an argument and stuff. And then Carmelo said to Austin, you know what? Hit me and see what happens. Other people around were like, this kid is off. You know what I mean? So Austin was like, get out of the tent. He went to go physically remove him from the tent because he was being disruptive to the other people that noticed him throughout this whole altercation, digging in his bag for something. And while a lot of people are saying it was a cleat sharpener, it wasn't. It says it in the police report that the knife was found. So it was a knife. Now, you could dispute this all you want, but just go look at that police report. It literally is 7 pages long. I read throughout the whole entire thing. You're going to find a kid who literally asked the police officer, can I say that this was self-defense? That's how you guys got it in your head about self-defense. And you're also going to see that he only started to cry after he realized, hey, I'm probably going to go to prison for this. And what I find interesting is that if you do research a little bit deeper, the actual defense attorneys are pleading with the public to stop reporting misinformation about how this was self-defense and how Carmelo was actually bullied. They literally said Carmelo was not being bullied. The boys had just met that day. So the brothers, these brothers that you say approached Carmelo, no, they didn't approach Carmelo. And if it was reversed, I'd still be saying put that kid in prison, because of the fact that I don't want to have a murderer running around free. Do you?
Okay, so let's talk about this. I don't want to be in a position whereby you guys are gonna come for me saying that I'm spreading misinformation. Okay, I'm gonna try my level best to say this according to the eyewitness, according to the confession of Austin, according to the police reports, and I'm gonna leave this up to you guys to tell me like what you really think about this video. Okay, so as we bring with that being said, as we bring this video to close, I want to leave you with some very important new information that has that came to light, information that many mainstream sources have not emphasized enough on. So a witness who was present at the track meet during the incident recently spoke out. According to the eyewitness account, Karmelo Antony was simply sitting under a tent at the time because it had started raining. These are the words of the witness, okay? So Carmelo was on his phone, minding his own business and not engaging in any kind of conflict with anybody because he was the only person in the tent, okay? So the witness explained that yes, he was watching his own children. The witness was watching his children at the event, but he also had a clear view of what was really happening under the tent between Carmelo and Austin with the other twin. So according to him, Austin was also on his phone when the two twins intentionally walked up to Carmelo. The witness stated that these twins physically, grabbed Carmelo and tried to, force him out of the tent. Yeah. In the case of that moment, outnumbered and felt, he was afraid, I guess, panicked, I guess, Carmelo allegedly reached for his backpack, and we know what tragic event unfolded next. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I do feel it's important to share the full context that's coming out. It paints a much more complicated and painful picture than what some of you are trying to present. This was not a situation where Carmelo went looking for trouble. Okay, based on the witness account, it was trouble that came looking for him. And any viewers, if I'm being completely honest with you, I can't shake the feeling that if they had just left Carmelo alone, none of this would have happened. I'm not supporting violence. I'm just telling you, I feel like had they left him alone, or if they didn't want him under that tent, they should have approached somebody, their coach, somebody or the in charge of the event that was happening, and asked those people, that person, the coach or anybody, to remove him. Okay, there was another video that I saw that states that Carmelo asked for permission to sit in that tent. Okay. A young life has been lost, yes. Another young life now fighting for his future, or because of a moment that should have never escalated to violence in the first place. It's heartbreaking no matter how you look at it. It's also a powerful reminder that no matter what we think we know from headlines or social media clips, there's always more to the story, always. So this witness is saying this, and other people on social media platforms, palm color people especially, are saying that this man, as referring to Anton, that he went to look for trouble. Karmelo Antony, like anyone accused of a crime, is innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, we should let the law handle that. And while emotions are understandably high, we must resist the urge to rush to judgment, especially when racial bias and public pressure can, so easily shape narratives in ways that are unfair and incomplete. Now, as you saw throughout this video, reactions to this case have been heavily divided. Some people are calling for the harshest punishments possible, demanding justice for Austin without considering all the factors at play. Others recognize that Carmelo is still a child himself, a 17-year-old who has never committed a crime in his entire life. Okay, at this point, I think let me mention that I'm gonna play the clip of the voice. Like they're not showing the guy; it's just the voice, the audio of a man who is allegedly. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna use a lot of allegedly for the sake of the law. Okay, a 17-year-old who, according to multiple reports and eyewitnesses' testimony, was placed into a terrifying situation that he did not create. What worries me is that I'm sure many of you feel the same, is how quickly society can turn on young black individuals, seeing them as threat first, human beings second. You don't know what was happening. You don't know why that boy was carrying a knife in his bag. I mean, according to what I've researched about this boy, he was always in church. He has never committed a crime in his life, and suddenly he was found with a knife in his backpack. It's interesting that many voices have insisted that this isn't about race, and that crime is crime, and yet history shows us time and time again that race deeply affects how crimes are perceived, prosecuted, and punished. To pretend otherwise is to ignore the reality that millions of Americans experience every day. This case should not be about political talking points. It should not be about punishing a young man to satisfy public outrage. It should be about truth, about fairness, about understanding what really happened, and ensuring that true justice is served based on facts, not fear or prejudice. As we continue to follow this case, I urge you all to keep an open mind and an open heart. Let's not lose sight of the fact that we are dealing with young people with futures that were supposed to stretch out decades ahead of them. No matter where you stand, I think we can all agree that this situation is nothing short of tragedy. 2 families destroyed, a community in pain, and now the rest of us watching, questioning, and trying to make sense of it all. So, with that being said, I want to hear from you. I mean, there are a lot of clips that I've come across that are suggesting or saying otherwise about this incident compared to what a lot of these palm color people are saying. I've heard in one of the videos the remaining twin saying that there was an altercation actually, and that altercation, like, it followed the boy, it followed Anthony, because in the first place he was just alone in the tent. There was no altercation. Okay, like, there are a lot of clips. I wish I could put them in this video, but then I think we're gonna come or run across them on TikTok or any of these social media platforms. Yeah, with that being said, what do you guys think about the witness said? Do you believe that Carmelo acted out of fear and self-defense? Do you believe he deserves another chance, or do you think the court will view this differently? Please let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. I genuinely want to hear what you have to say. And remember, this is a place for respect, thoughtful discussion, no hate assumptions, just real conversation. And if you found this video insightful, educational, please make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss up any updates. I'm gonna play the video of the eyewitness. Okay, I want you to watch this video up to the end, and I'll see you in my next video. Please stay peaceful.
Breaking news. A witness in the Carmelo Antony murder case came forward to make a statement, and we missed a lot about the whole incident. At the time of the incident, there should have been many students around. Let's listen to what he said.
It was raining. It got rained out like crazy bad. Everybody trying to get back to their cars or get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra wet at. Dude was sitting up under the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity. So I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So dude walks up. McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag, and what they went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah, it wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, that dude that got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bruh. It wasn't a school track meet.